Hello, YouTube! My name is Scott, and I just got around to watching Cobra Kai. Now, Season 3, Episode 5 is titled Miyagi-Do, and a good chunk of it does have to do with Miyagi-Do, though not in the way you might think, but I want to get to some of the other stuff first. This was an episode where things really seemed to be turning around for a majority of people, but not everyone. First up, in a way, is Robby. Yeah, he's still in juvie, and yeah, he did kind of go tell Kreese to screw off. But then he went and verified Kreese's story about his dad being in the All Valley tournament. He did this online, because apparently in juvie you can go online. Followed that up by briefly reading up on how Daniel beat Johnny in the All Valley tournament. And was in the middle of composing an email to Sam when that guy Payne, who's been bullying the entire time, pulled the plug on him. And a little bit later, Robby got the idea to start fighting back. And he took on Payne and both of his friends, and basically wound up gaining Payne's respect by kicking his ass and not snitching. And Payne didn't either, and they might be friends now? I don't know. But unfortunately, this does kind of lead to the idea that Robby will be taking Kreese more seriously, which is nothing anyone should be doing. It's hard to see where to go from here. How about that? So the Miyagi-Do students? Yeah, Amanda came down on Sam for teaching the kids while Daniel was gone. Because, you know, the whole no more karate thing. And you can tell time has passed because the kid playing Anthony has clearly gone through a growth spurt. But at the same time, the Cobra Kai kids, well, they're behaving about like you'd expect Cobra Kai kids too. They go to golf and stuff and start terrorizing kids who are much, much smaller than them, apparently just because they can. You know, messing with their games, stealing their tickets. Messing with Chris, who's working there. He sends a message to Sam, and she shows up with reinforcements, and it turns out to be a full-on brawl in the old laser tag portion of golf and stuff, which should be going really well until Tori shows up. And clearly, Sam has some kind of PTSD because she freezes right up. She does nothing, even as Hawk has Dimitri down and breaks his arm. Although you do see what might be a little bit of a crack in Hawk's armor there because he clearly has remorse over it. It might be just about time for him to be turning the corner. Kind of lends to the soap opera aspect with a lot of people swinging back and forth between good and evil. Yeah. And that is essentially the end of that, except that, you know, Amanda meets Sam at the hospital where she's there with Dimitri, and you know, Sam was just saying she just wanted them to show that they couldn't be bullied. Personally, if it had been me, like, I was actually thinking about this. If I'd been the Miyagi-Do kids, I totally would have started another fight at school and lost on purpose. Because once the Cobra Kai kids get going, they clearly don't stop. And they're going to be the ones that get in trouble for beating the crap out of everybody. You know, I was going to say work smarter, not harder, but I guess karate smarter, not harder? Yeah. And that leads to Amanda confronting Kreese at the dojo. There's this one thing I noticed. He's always doing this a lot. Whether he's got like a towel around his neck or he's grabbing at his gi, he's always grabbing at it. I don't know if I missed that from the movies that I actually didn't see, but she smacks him across the face, and this is going to go beyond kids doing karate. You can just tell. Now, another more interesting part of this episode is how much effort Johnny is putting into trying to get Miguel to be able to walk again. You know, he doesn't think physical therapy is working. He tells him this ridiculous... No, wait, first. He does this thing where he dangles a Sports Illustrated in front of Miguel and tries to get him to stand up and grab it. That doesn't work. He tells him a fake story about the invention of the hibachi grill in order to distract Miguel to literally light a fire under him, which means he lit his like shoelace on fire, and then it crept up to his leg, but that didn't get him going because he couldn't feel anything. So obviously Johnny put it out. It was getting to the point where Johnny had no idea what to do. He was doing that whole same problem, he has with electronics. Like, he pulled his laptop back out and plugged it in. He's like, oh, it works now because I plugged it in. And he went and looked up how to make legs work again online and went to WebMD, which, of course, he mispronounces. But then when he saw Miguel's mom crying outside, he decided he needed to do something for Miguel. So they pretended he was like a Make-A-Wish kid and snuck him into a Dee Snider concert, which is pretty awesome because, it's Dee Snider. And in the midst of everything, with Miguel just relaxing and having fun, he started tapping his foot in time to the music. Which, technically, there was no way this kid wasn't ever going to walk again, so you could kind of see it coming, but it was still a really great moment. And it actually led to a nice resolution for Johnny in this one. Because Miguel was taking pictures and said he'd tag Johnny in them. He's like, oh, I can't, see them. I threw my phone out. I was like, you can use Facebook on your computer. You know that, right? Johnny's like, yeah. Because he didn't. But he went back and checked Facebook, and he saw the friend request from Allie. And I'm guessing we're going to get an Elizabeth Shue cameo at some point, because we saw her picture. But probably the main reason this is called Miyagi-Do is because of Daniel's continued adventures in Okinawa. As you may recall, Chozen showed up right at the end. So we had to start this episode with a whole replay of the scene from Karate Kid 2, where he threatened Kumiko's life and battled Daniel to the death. And, Daniel beat him and had him, pull back by the hair, ready to, drive his nose into his brain, saying, live or die. And I guess when Chozen said die, Daniel honked his nose instead in the movie. But anyway, Chozen's there, Daniel's freaking out. Chozen decides to take him on a tour that winds him up at a dojo. Now, it turns out that Mr. Miyagi and Chozen Sensei were both taught by the same man. So technically, Daniel calls it being karate cousins, but Chozen says there's some things about Miyagi-Do that Daniel doesn't know. And he proves it with a karate montage, which isn't nearly as interesting as the fight in the laser tag arena because this is two middle-aged men doing karate. But it turns out there are some things that Chozen doesn't know because Mr. Miyagi never taught Daniel. That wasn't right at all. Some things that Daniel doesn't know because Mr. Miyagi never taught him. And Chozen knows this technique that can literally render your opponent's limbs numb. And it looks like he teaches it to him. Or he at least gives him the scroll in which the directions are printed, so there's that. Now, Daniel needs to meet Kumiko before he goes back to Okinawa, and he runs into a woman he knew as a little girl named Yuna, whom he rescued from a typhoon. And karma's just working out for Daniel because Yuna works for Doyona, which means she can save Daniel's business, and LaRusso Auto will be back on more or less top again. So like I said, good stuff all around, really. Except for Sam. Something's got to be done about Sam. Maybe if Robby was at a juvie. I don't know. Anyway, that's what happened, and that's what I think. What do you guys think? How about you leave a comment down below, like the video, share it around, subscribe if you're so inclined, hit that bell icon for notifications the next time I put one up. And until next time, I have been Scott, and this has been Just Got Around to Watching, an offshoot of opinions no one cares about. Everyone has opinions. This one was mine.